talk about 9 ways that you can leverage metaphors in your email campaigns, in your white papers, your ebooks, your sales pages. This is the foundation of copywriting, okay? And if you're new here, I'm Tiffany Garside, founder of Tiffy G Writes, a bespoke marketing agency focusing on finance copywriting for 9 years, okay? And so let's go ahead and jump into the content. This actually comes from a blog on my website. If you want to see other blogs like this, or you like content similar to this, check out the link in my bio. Go to www.tiffygwrites.co and you can go over to the blog vault. It's actually going to take you directly there so you can go through all of those blogs to find the ones that work best for your season in business. Now, number 1, metaphors can be used to highlight the benefits of your finance or real estate offers. We all know if you're in finance, law, real estate, anything that has a bit of complexity and requires more education, then analogies and metaphors are going to be useful. And metaphors are basically like a comparison. So you're comparing your offers to something to help someone get a better understanding of what it is you do. For example, if you had let's say you're selling a time management tool, okay? It's a SaaS product, software as a service. You could compare it to having a personal assistant so that people would understand your offer more easily, okay? Number 2, you want to simplify complex ideas, okay? Metaphors can be used to simplify complex ideas, especially if your product has technical features that are difficult to understand. We do this a lot for clients who have like tax relief firms, wealth management agencies, or even when we're writing blog content for real estate firms and somebody doesn't understand the different options that are available to them. I even had a client who owned a commercial real estate firm, and so we would write blogs about the commercial real estate industry, breaking down what a HELOC loan is, breaking down those different and to also use metaphors. You're going to realize that when people generate blogs that are by AI and they don't copy edit them effectively, then you're just going to have a lot of information without context. And that is an allergy to your business. That can destroy your messaging and destroy your trust when you're throwing information out there without context and metaphors to help people digest what you're talking about, okay? Number 3, metaphors are going to enable you to create a visual image. This is huge in the copywriting world. Creating an image in somebody's mind about what their life looks like before working with you, describing again the 3-on-3 emotional framework that I teach when I work with private clients, done for you copywriting services. Even when I teach writing workshops, I break down this framework where it's literally where we pick out the 3 emotions someone experiences before working with your firm, and then the 3 emotions somebody experiences after working with your firm. The idea is that you're tying each specific emotion to a specific email, to a specific social media caption, a specific campaign in the bigger buyer's journey so you can see the map of your buyer's cycle. This is going to enable you to have repeated revenue. You're going to have formulas so you can actually see what messaging is effective. You can go back with the data analysis when you have your calls with your copywriter. For us, for example, we typically do calls 2 times per month with our clients to break down the data and see, okay, which campaigns are performing the best according to the season of business that we're in. Okay, number 4, you're going to be able to evoke emotion. And this is somewhat what I was talking about with the 3-on-3 framework, but you can also help people understand what emotions you want them to feel about your brand. But you have to explicitly state it. So metaphors have that power. And remember, people only buy from those that they know, they like, and that they trust. So it's not enough just to have all of the complex educational aspects. You do have to build a little bit of that likability factor. And the best way to do that is to evoke emotion. This can be done through you telling stories, where you saying, hey, this is what I'm going through at the office this morning, or even as you're leaving the office, hey, this is what we did in the firm today. All of these tangible, almost journalistic type of copywriting techniques will enable you to have more trust and compassion with your audience. They'll feel more connected to you, and that's going to enable them to book a call with you, because you always want to come from the standpoint or the mindset that People, especially when they're ready to purchase, when they're ready to work with a finance firm, they're ready to purchase a house, whatever it is, they're not just looking at your business. They're probably looking at 2 or 3 other companies while they're reading your emails, while they're on your website, which means your copy needs to be succinct, complete, it needs to be high caliber, it needs to display your excellence, but also feel an emotional connection, because when your audience is emotionally connected to you, they feel safe with you. And when people feel safe, they make buying decisions confidently, okay? Number 5, metaphors help us create a sense of urgency. So we all know we get those emails where people are like, the clock is ticking and, all of this stuff that just sounds very generic and very much like I have 50 million other emails in my inbox that sounds like this. Back to user experience, understand that unless you're being creative with the metaphors, or unless you're partnering with a copywriter, a creative director who can help you to be more creative with the way you communicate, if you sound too generic and people, imagine this. Imagine you have your phone in your hand, you're going through your inbox this morning, you may even be doing this right now. How many emails in your inbox sound exactly alike? And what does that make you feel? It makes you feel frustrated. I know it frustrates me. It makes you feel like, okay, these don't even stick out. And a lot of times you'll just read the subject line and you won't even tap the email. Now, how much more so is this true for your audience if you're using generic copy? And so a way to create real urgency is to use a metaphor. So instead of saying, hey, limited time offer, you can say, this is a fast approaching train that is going to take off. I don't want to leave you behind. That sounds more personal. That makes someone feel like, oh, you're actually creative with the way that you articulate things. That's going to stand out in somebody's mind. Copywriting, marketing, messaging, and education is all about standing out in your ideal client's mind, okay? Number 6, make your brand incomparable. This is where we're talking about your unique selling proposition. What is your position in the market today? For example, right now, the current geopolitics, the economy, all of the things, people are feeling a lot of pressure. This is where that mindset comes from, of reading the room. You need to be able to read the business room. You need to be able to read the room of your subscribers, of what your audience is going through, being able to empathize with them, so that when you create copy, you can say things like, hey, I know there's a lot of tension on the news, all of these geopolitics, and then coming in to say, hey, but I have this new guide for you. I have this new blog I wrote for you. Or, hey, I have one available spot if you want to negotiate your tax debt, if you want to hone down on your wealth management strategy, if you want to close out your estate, if you want to hire a personal injury attorney, whatever solution it is you provide. But make sure you speak in a creative way, okay? So that's how you make your brand incomparable. When we're talking about unique selling propositions, meeting it with the market demand, and then following up with the empathy to understand and read the room and see what people are thinking, what people are going through. You can also do this seasonally. So obviously it's springtime. People are looking into vacations. People are maybe even getting ready to book summer vacations. You can talk about that process as well in your agency or in your firm. There are so many ways to create a unique selling proposition and tie your messaging back into current events that are happening right now, okay? Now, our next point, number 7. You're going to strengthen your call to action. This is my absolute favorite as a copywriter of 9 years. You are going to create compelling calls to action. So instead of saying, click here to book a call, you can use metaphors instead and say, explore your wealth management options here, right? Now, if you're a realtor in Columbus, Ohio, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, you can say, check out the latest houses in the Buckeye State. You can get extremely creative with calls to action, but a lot of time entrepreneurs and CEOs are just too busy, and that's why they'll have a creative director come in, hone that entire part of the marketing and messaging strategy so that you have more free time to book clients, to lead your team, or to take a vacation, to spend time with your family, to make more revenue, whatever it is, okay? Now, number 8, you can draw parallels. Metaphors assist you in drawing parallels to real life events or to philosophical thoughts or to biblical narratives. It could literally be anything depending on your brand guidelines and values. You can compare your solution to something that you did today. For example, I do this all the time, and I talk about when I get my nails done and how important it is to go to someone that you trust with your nails, because I had a situation happen where I should have went to my nail tech that I always go to. I was going to write this out via email, but I'm telling you here right now, maybe I'll still write it out via email, but I should have went to the same nail tech that I always go to, okay? I shouldn't have switched my strategy, so to speak. It's the same thing with marketing. When you switch strategies, you're going to end up getting yourself in too many different things. You're going to be confused. Your marketing is going to be all over the place. Anyway, my nails were cut down so far. She was like pinching the skin off of my nails, and I was just like sitting there like, I should have went to the tech that I always go to. I should have went to the nail salon that I always stay with. I should not have tried something new. Marketing and messaging is the same way. Business as a whole is the same way. You have to have the ability to focus and stay on par with what you were doing, okay? So I ended up going back to my same nail tech just this past week, this weekend actually. And now my nails, these are actually my nails. They're long, they're healthy, they're strong, because she takes care of them, she's careful with them, and she doesn't just like throw it to the side and she's like, let's just cut all this stuff off, right? That's the experience I had with the previous nail technician. And you can apply that to marketing and business. You can apply that to anything. So that's just an example of how to use a metaphor from your real life. And you're gonna write it the same way that you would speak it. So the same way I just spoke this to you and told you this story, I'm gonna go through and write the email copy and create a metaphor about that to draw back to email marketing, okay? And so number 9, our last one, make your message more engaging. Metaphors make your message anti-boring, okay? Don't you want to be anti-boring? Like, you do not, again, going back to user experience, you do not want people to see your emails and be like, bleh, because they're not going to click. And so you're wasting time if you're sending emails that are not getting opened, they're not getting clicked, people are not diverting to your website, they're just, filling up people's inboxes. You want your content to be engaging. You want your email copy to be engaging. You want your ebooks, your sales pages, your website to be engaging. Metaphors are one of the key foundations in messaging and copywriting. And as you elevate your business, you're going to start to understand that metaphors aren't a nice to have. Great messaging is not a nice to have. Great messaging is a must. It's the lifeline of a business. Without communications, without speaking to clients where they are, without appealing to your audience, you don't have clients, which means you won't have a business. And so hopefully you got a lot of value from this, the 9 ways to leverage metaphors in your email marketing campaigns. Again, if you like this type of content, I have a 9-year-old blog, www.tiffygwrites.co. Check it out at the link in bio. You are going to see a plethora of posts on Instagram marketing, email marketing, video marketing, copywriting, showing you how to use strategic communications, showing you how to appeal to the 4 buyer types. All of that is on my website, on my blog. Check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Feel free to drop your questions below, and I'll actually take some time to respond back to you. Talk soon.